Okay. Okay, so what's your name?
Tina Doan.
Alright, and are you originally from Houston?
Yes,
Yep.
born and raised.
Okay. And what is your educational background?
I majored in psychology with a minor in consumer science and merchandising. I have a master's in forensic psychology.
Okay, and what is your current job title?
I'm a community supervision officer, which is long for probation officer.
Okay, and who do you work for?
I work for Harris County. It's HCCSCD, which is Harris County Community Supervision and Corrections Department.
Okay, and how long have you worked there?
For 6 years.
Alright, and when you first started, what were your primary duties?
Well, it's the same duties that I have now. I'm a community supervision officer, but I specialize in Vietnamese case training about interviewing. Because that's really important, the way we ask questions instead of like probing and stuff like that. And I actually have lots of experience in interviewing because I had like kind of like an research assistant jobs where we had to practice on that for like psychology researches. But for employees, they do have training for that to properly talk to your coworkers and not offend them, especially your managers, because there will always be office managers.
Who else do you work with in your office? Do you work with any social workers or?
I don't work directly with social workers. Other people do. Actually, I do communicate like on the phone only to other counselors that are like specialized in substance abuse or who are counselors for assault cases. They have domestic violence counselors. I talk to them very, very regularly. Yeah, and substance abuse, definitely substance abuse.
Okay. Do you have any final words or advice you would like to give me on this matter?
For communications?
Just communication, talking to your coworkers, talking to your...
Practice. It's just all about practice. Like, they drill you a lot in school on, like, how to interview properly, the different ways, the different types of interviewing and stuff like that. It's all really important, and you use it all the time. Anywhere you go, you have to learn how to speak properly, and like even to your office mate and your office managers, it's really important. You have to be PC because that's just the real world.
Okay, I did forget one question I want to ask you.
Sure.
What about your future? Do you plan on staying, community supervisor? Would you like to move away from it? Or?
I am planning to advance my education. I want to get into the paralegal where I work actually directly to like people who are in need of attorneys and stuff like that. I don't represent them, but like I'll be interviewing them for the attorneys as paralegal, and I'll be working with a lot of that more.
Okay, but you kind of come away from the psychosocial aspect of it.
Yes, I'm going to be more of just the interviewing part of like what happened instead of the whole rehabilitating and readjustment type of counseling.
Right, so you don't have to assess people anymore. And
yes, I don't have to, but I know how to read it.
Right.
So that's also a good thing too. That's an advantage.
Right. Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So I do translation in my office and sometimes in court. But people come in to see me once a month, either once a month or twice a month, depending on their assessments. And they report, and I talk about their daily activities, discuss what they've done in the past month, encourage them to change their lifestyle, to follow the rules of the law, and, talk about their treatments, what they talk about, and who they hang out with.
What kind of assessments do you do?
We do risk and needs assessments. It's a basic Wisconsin risk needs assessment where we risk, the needs is like what they need for like education, family support, their regular habits. And the risk is more for society, how many times they've been in trouble with the law, the likelihood of reoffending, and stuff like that.
And how do you feel your educational background helps with your current job?
Well, Harris County actually applies a lot of like the psychology theories towards their rehabilitation. Like we do, they believe in stages, so we actually assess their stages of how they're progressing while they're on probation, like how they're doing. Are they adjusting well to their new lifestyle? Are they still going back to what they were doing before? You know, and we assess it and we write notes, and if they need additional help, then we increase the supervision or have the courts admonish them for it.
And you said that you speak Vietnamese, correct?
Correct.
How do you feel that helps with your job?
It helps actually them more because they feel more comfortable that there's another Vietnamese speaker there that can explain to them the law, explain to them why they certain things. Because sometimes, you know, most of the time actually, even English-speaking cases, they come in and they don't know what they're signing up for. They're just there.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It is scary, you know, because all they think about is like, I'm just scared, I just want to get out of this. And so they sign anything. So when they come in, they don't know what to expect. So it's good to have somebody that can, you know, explain that to them.
Okay. Did you have to do any cultural certification for your job?
Yes, we have lots of trainings that we're required every year. There's one that's called motivational interviewing, where we actually train employees to make sure that when we're talking to them, that we're not making them feel bad, but to also motivate them, to make them want to change their lifestyles. There's this thing called EBP, which is I forget what the standing means, but it stands for something, but it's pretty much for us to care about them as much as they care about probation. You know, make them care about their lives, make them understand and not, you know, put them down. Because if you put them down, they're used to it, and they're not going to change.
What do you think your communication strengths are?
It has to be the rapport that you build with them every month. Like when I'm seeing them every month, I know about their life history, their situation, their struggles every month. You know, like it could be like family problems, boyfriend problem, girlfriend problem, baby mama problem, all sorts of stuff. So they get really close to you because they trust you, because you know so much about them. And you know, when they have questions about stuff like not just legal stuff, but personal stuff, you know, you're there for them. Like kind of like a counselor, you know, you have to listen to everything and give them advice and help them out so they can choose a better pathway for them.
Okay, what about your weaknesses? Do you have any communication-wise?
Yeah, there's, you know, some people you just cannot reach. I think probably the males that are a little bit older, it seems harder for me to communicate with them because, you know, they are so much older, especially if they're Vietnamese. It's really hard culturally for them to talk to me, to open up, to talk about their problems, or to listen to my advice.
You talked about gender. Is it only with the males that you have issues communicating with?
No, it's all, you know, either boys or girls or women or females, you know, it's just all the same. It's just, it really depends. I just noticed that the older males, specifically Vietnamese, are a little bit harder. Females, I think if it was like not, I tend to have a problem with too, because, you know, I guess the whole ethnicity issue too. I guess for them it's just a little harder to listen to somebody else that's different from them.
Right.
But I mean, doesn't mean that happens to everybody. But I mean, it's just a little bit more challenge. But you have to like work on it, you know, talk to them and, you know, let them get to know you and trust you.
Does your job require you to do cultural training so that...
Yeah, we do have a few, but not a lot. Not that I can think of anything. We don't really focus on culture. We focus on like the differences in like economics, you know, like because poor, you know, lower income happens to everybody, not to a specific culture.